Hey guys, and welcome to my first video on my series on how to write generic music, in which I will explore different genres and simultaneously make fun of them while also recreating them. So I want to compose music and using basically every little stereotype there is about this style. To start things off, we're gonna start with a genre that is probably one of the most generic in the creator realm of metal, which will be post-hardcore. Because if you measure genericness on the sheer amount of YouTube comments under a music video suggesting that this music is quite generic, then it's gotta be post-hardcore, right? So imagine labels like Rise Records or A Rising Empire or anything else with Rise. They tend to sign bands that sound quite similar, to say the least, and I kinda want to stick to that sound and do basically what all of them are doing and sticking to that formula. So my challenge for today is to write a complete post-hardcore song from start to finish within a few hours and with the least amount of work and effort possible. Just keeping it simple, keeping it generic, using every first thing I come up with and stitching it together using the same formula everyone else is using, because that's the spirit of writing generic music. So let's get into it and see what we come up with. So first things first, in post-hardcore there is a very strict formula that everyone is using. So I'm going to stick to that, and that determines in which order we are gonna make which part. And of course we're gonna start with the intro. And the intro is always very atmospheric, so it's either synthesizers or just clean guitar with shit tons of reverb. And since I'm not that good at synthesizers, I'm gonna stick to the clean guitar. So, and in order to keep it simple, I will just use like the absolute standard drop D tuning. Let's set it to the most generic tempo I can think of, which is 120 beats per minute. And just open with some chord variation, which will be D minor. This is an F and this is an B. And keep that open G string in there, and that's as spicy as it gets. This is our intro. We will just keep it like it is, and as I said, trench it in some reverb. Oh yeah, that sounds nice. Sounds beautiful. So we are done with the intro now, and the next part will be this epic down-tempo mosh part. The electric guitars come in and the drums and the bass, and we're gonna record all of this now, and starting off with the rhythm guitars. Okay, yeah, something like this. Not quite there yet. Let's add some very simple drums first, so I have some kind of orientation other than the click, because the click kinda, I don't know, doesn't do the trick for me. Let's add some bass and then we're done with the mosh part. Let's just try. So yeah, that's it for the bass. It's just 3 notes, but I'm fine with that. So let's add some bit more interesting drums than just the complete basics. So for the drums, as I said, we're gonna keep it down tempo, but the kick drum is doing what the guitars and the bass are doing. That's some generic drums right here. And now copy paste it one more time. So let's just change up the last drum break to make a better transition into the verse. Yeah, cool. Okay, so next up gotta be the first verse, and this one's gotta be easy because we're going to stick to the formula, and the formula says closed hi-hat figure, just bass, no guitars, just the ambient guitars if you will. Let's just use the first very simple major minor chords we come up with, which will be D minor, C major, A minor, B major, and kinda sounds familiar to me. Before I record the bass, I have to readjust the drum pattern so it fits better to the guitars first. And now for the bass. So that was the first verse. That's all there is to it. So let's continue with the pre-chorus. And in the pre-chorus, the rhythm guitars will come back and the drums will be a bit faster and louder and more intense. And like every good pre-chorus, when we start with D, that's going to end on an A because that's the fifth, and every good pre-chorus ends on the fifth. So we can start the chorus with the root again, which we will. Yeah, so that's the guitars for the pre-chorus, which are ending in this nice resolving dominant seventh chord. Let's put some faster drums under it, and the bass basically doing the same like the electric guitars, like in the other parts as well, and then we can continue with the chorus, and then it's only a matter of copy-pasting the whole song together. And now for some drums again, and it's getting just faster, and we're using open hi-hat instead of closed hi-hat. Nice, okay, that's the pre-chorus. So next up is the chorus, and for the drums of the chorus there's this one little special move I'm going to make, because I just used open hi-hat for the pre-chorus and I'm using the crash cymbal for the mosh part thing, which will come after the chorus. So I have to pick a cymbal that from its intensity is kind of in between those two, and there's basically just one which comes to mind, and that's the right cymbal, but not tipped as a right, but like right crash, so to say. So you get this nice high texture without having too hard of the hits, because you want to have the hard hits when the whole song hits hard, which is in the part after the chorus. So that's a cool trick and cool usage of these cymbals. Let's just keep this as a click substitute for now and go on with some guitars. And once more. Yeah, so the guitars for the chorus are a bit weird, rhythmically speaking, but it's all gonna make sense as soon as I program in the drums. But for now, let's track the bass first. First take, first try again. So now let's make the drums a bit more interesting, and because this is the chorus and the chorus quite slaps, it's okay to do a little bit of double bass in here. Da 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 da. It's too intense. It's too metal. Sounds good to me. Let's trim the guitars just there, and the bass as well. And now we can just copy paste the whole thing. So we are now done with the main part of the song. We just have one part left, and that will be the bridge, and the bridge will be located between the second and the third and last chorus. And I mean, this is post-hardcore, so we're gonna do something breakdown-ish, not quite as hard as an actual breakdown, but it's gotta be down-tempo again, and it's gotta be the most hard-hitting part of the whole song. So we have in this order the intro, mosh part, first verse, pre-chorus, chorus, mosh part again, verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus again. So in between here comes the bridge, and with the last chorus we are going to just do it like that. So it's just bass and ambience. I will add some small sounds later, and the vocals, obviously, of course, I'm still going to do vocals, and then the whole chorus comes once more, and then the song is over. That's the plan. And now for the bridge, let's come up with something not too complicated, but still cool. And I think I'm going to continue with this rhythm. Now let's spice that up with some generic tom hits. Okay, that's the most generic intro for a breakdown I could come up with. And then shit is hitting the fan. And we're gonna make one slow one and one faster one. And we're gonna start with the slow one, of course. That will just be the same thing like the intro, just an octave deeper. I am now finished with basically all the instrumentals, like the main one. So I'm going to add a few more special guitar stuff later, off camera probably, and add some spice to it and make it sound like an actual song. But for the main part we are done with the instrumentals, so next up will be vocals, and that's the part I'm most afraid of because I completely suck at singing. But we're doing post-hardcore here, so I'm not going to get away with screaming around like a prick, but I have to actually sing for myself, which is fucking terrifying if you ask me, because I really suck. I'm going to need a lot of plugins and help like autotune and whatnot, and I just want to apologize beforehand to all of you that you are just going to hear what I'm trying to sing now, because I can't. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so after fucking around with the autotune settings, I'm now back at it and trying to come up with some cheesy lyrics, because it's a post-hardcore song, so it's probably going to be about a breakup situation and some whiny ass stuff about why women no have sex with me anymore. Very sad. It's gonna be cheesy, it's gonna be cringy, it's gonna be even more cringy because I still can't sing for fuck. I will just pray to the Lord that the autotune is going to save me. And yeah, I just started coming up with some melodies and I'm going to continue with that. First on with the verse, and again, I'm sorry you have to hear this because I really suck, and boy, this is cringe inducing. Na, 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 la, 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 la. Okay, I have written down some lyrics, so let's try another take. In this empty shell you left me, right here on the floor. This day the time stood still. That was surprisingly okay. Okay, like the shouting style kinda works. Let's keep that and record the backing vocals. So after quite a time of fucking around with the vocals and re-recording everything, I decided to redo the whole melody for the chorus. And what I also did to help myself record it is use a simple MIDI piano so I can hear the exact melody I have to sing. And then I can sing it far more easily. And now I'm gonna come up with some cheesy lyrics. So lyrically, basically in the first verse we have this oh shit you left me thing, and then in the chorus we have this we were meant for each other thing. So I guess the second verse is gonna be something like something went wrong and it shouldn't be. I don't know, something along those lines. Let's see what we come up with. But it shouldn't be that way for us. Came up with some shitty lyrics. Let's record. We need some classic bleh right when the first breakdown kicks. Let's try that. And let's record another one that is just starting there and will be hold for longer. Damn, son, that was a good scream. I hope that we could fight together, but it should not be that way for us. So I'm done now with recording the vocals and writing the lyrics. It still sounds like shit, but I'm trying to fix as much as I can in the mix, which will come now, and which I will doing off camera because it's boring and you don't want to see it. Like me putting another 10 hours into this song that is supposed to be low effort. Yeah, I'm going to apply some mixing magic and make it sound like an actual song, and afterwards I can talk a bit about what I did, but for now, see you when the mix is done. A few days have passed and I'm now finished with the mix, and as you can see I also got me some lights so you can see me better. So the bad things first, I didn't got saved by autotune. It still sounds a bit meh. It's not terrible, but it's also not good, and you can clearly tell that I'm not a vocalist whatsoever. It's just my voice just doesn't sound like I'm singing. It's more like I sound like I'm falling asleep every second now. But I don't know what to do against that, so if you have any advice, let me know in the comments. So the only thing I changed for the structure is adding the mosh part 2 more times as an outro after the last chorus. And the only additional recording in instrumentals I did is this clean guitar in the breakdown part, which I know I said for the bridge we're gonna do something like breakdown-ish, but not quite as hard as a breakdown, but it turns out it's just a regular breakdown and it hits pretty hard. I mean, listen to this. I hope that we could find together, especially with the vocals, so yeah, just a normal breakdown. And another thing I realized is post-hardcore is still part of hardcore, so it needs to have some gang shouts in it. So I added like 4 layers of me shouting in the microphone in the breakdown part, and it sounds like this. The time stood still. And I love it. And I also added this, this football stadium choir, if you will, in the outro of the song. And with a lot of reverb, it sounds like this. And it also adds a lot to the atmosphere. So the next thing I added are these keys, and they are basically doubling the vocal line I'm singing in the chorus, and also repeating parts of that line in the mosh part after the chorus. And they sound like this. That's also partly what the football stadium choir is singing, right? And what I added to the drums is I exported the snare and the cymbals and the toms separately and re-imported them in the audio project. So I had the audio file and I could just reverse the audio file. So I have these really cool reverse swelling sounds, like the snare and the toms. and the cymbals. And they are just perfect to emphasize certain parts of the song. And they also are pretty much common in post-hardcore, metalcore, deathcore, so it also adds to the whole genre feeling. And besides adding to the mix, I also remixed all the instruments to fit the style of post-hardcore better. So the guitars have this very low gain approach that sounds like this. So pretty crispy and not so bassy as in other genres. And the drums are pretty punchy and have a lot of reverb on the snare. So it sounds quite modern and yeah, massive but not too aggressive because again, it's not death metal, right? Yep, so that's it for the mix, and now I'm going to show you the whole song. And to make things even worse, I did a little music video on this where I also covered some post-hardcore video stereotypes. So thanks for watching, and if you want to see me butchering some other metal genres or even genres outside the realm of metal, stick around and subscribe because there is more videos coming and I have planned plenty of genres and cliches to fulfill. So have fun with the song and see you in the next video. Listen.